Yo, welcome to another installment of Noob Chess Analysis. Today we're going over an Accelerated Dragon game, Sicilian Defense. And I've been playing this opening for about 3 weeks. And this game just clearly defines all of the goals you set out to achieve when you're playing the Accelerated Dragon. So let's dig right in. Now, a broad overview of the Accelerated Dragon. What we're trying to accomplish, we're trying to attack the center. We're trying to develop our pieces and get some king safety. And all the while, you're going to fianchetto your bishop. You're going to bring your knight out here. And you're setting up a strong diagonal. And then it is the Accelerated Dragon, because what you're trying to accomplish with this d-pawn is you're trying to contest the middle in a single move. So you're trying to move your d-pawn from d7 to d5. With the regular dragon, you go to d6. So with this, we're going to contest the middle in a single move. So a very common opening from white, developing the knight to f3, pushing out d4 to contest the center. Whenever you see d4 and you're playing the Sicilian, you take. He's going to recapture. You prepare to fianchetto. And what you're hoping for, you're hoping that your opponent captures your knight here. And that allows you to recapture with your b-pawn, which accomplishes a few things. First, it solidifies our pawn structure and allows us to, with a lot of ammo, to go after the center. And secondly, this b-pawn will be on b6 or c6, and that will protect the d5 square. The d5 square is very important because that's where we're attempting to get our pawn out to. So having support there is important. Lastly, it opens up the b file. So it allows us to do things like move our rook over in the game, like in the future. It could be a future move for you to put some pressure on the b2 square, which is often weak in the first place when you have a very nice kingside fianchetto bishop. So he does recapture. You're not supposed to do that, even though there's a book by it. I don't think you're supposed to do it because of all the reasons we just talked about. Anyways, he continues to develop. We bring our bishop into the game. This bishop is just so important to any sort of Sicilian, and at this level, it can do a ton of damage, especially if they develop the bishop before they develop the knight. That b2 square is ripe for picking, and that knight also suffocates the rook. So if you get that the b pawn and the rook is stuck, you're getting some healthy material. Anyways, he makes a bit of a mistake here, and this allows us to accomplish the major goal of the Accelerated Dragon, which is moving the d pawn straight to d5. So the reason that bishop now blunts the queen from protecting the d5 square. So this allows us to push up in a single move because we will then have two defenders while he only has a single. So we go for it. Let's do it. Accelerated Dragon, baby. All right, so we recaptured, and look at that. We own the center. We own the center as black. That's exactly what we were trying to accomplish. It's a great thing. We have a strong pawn structure. We have the diagonal bishop. That's not the right diagonal, but that is. And so he puts a check on us and actually captures, which is also very good for us because that just allows us to develop our queen. He put some pressure here, and this actually opens up a really good discussion on this knight. So the knight on g8, usually with Sicilians, for the most part, you're putting it on f6, you're putting the knight on f6. But with this position, you actually have a reason to support your pawn structure and then develop your knight to e7, because that maintains this open diagonal for your bishop. He is attacking a weak spot here, but our king is covering this, so he can't really do anything about it. So the right move here is actually to push your e-pawn to e6. Did I do that? No, I didn't. I got a little uncomfortable with the pressure, and I decided to just protect it with my knight. Not a massive mistake, but I should have thought that one through a little more. He attacks that pawn, and then I developed the pawn structure. It does leave that knight a little weak, though, right? We only have one defender on it, and he's already attacking it and has a dark squared bishop to contest it. So we got to be careful about that knight. Now he makes a pretty big, it's not a huge mistake, but it opens up a tactical possibility for us. One thing to note is this bishop is undefended. also are that by moving that knight, he weakened his b2 square, which for us is a beautiful thing because of this bishop. So we can accomplish two things with a single move. With this knight, we can attack the undefended bishop, and we can put pressure on that b2 square. Now, my opponent has a very simple move to protect himself, and that would just be to move this bishop back, and it gets out of the line of fire of my knight, and then supports the b2 pawn. But the good thing about being at this level is when you put pressure on your opponent, sometimes they make mistakes, and that's what my opponent did. He saw the weakness on b2 and tried to defend it with his knight, not seeing that bishop is undefended, and he's down a piece. At our level, this is not the end of the game, so keep fighting. You can definitely come back. Even though you're -7 here, you can definitely come back. Like, people blunder all the time. And a good way to blunder, actually, this position is to just move your knight there, right? You think it's an outpost. It's actually protected 3 times. And the crazy thing is, even if he takes this, you can't even recapture because your queen is undefended. Always look at your queen and see its undefended status. Is it defended or not? Oh, let me recapture. No, that's not good. Don't do it. Anyways, I did not make that mistake. I moved back into a nice outpost. He pushed me away. And then from here, we just go to battle. We're just battling. Big thing about this move, it's undefended at this point, so keep your eye on that. I'm thinking about moving my pawns up the board. This is interesting. He puts some pressure on the middle here. When I saw this, the first thing I thought was, this rook would look good. If somehow I can recapture here and open up a discovered attack on the queen, that'd be pretty nice. So to accomplish that, I wanted to actually get this bishop out of the way. And, I want to attack this undefended. Sorry, it's not a bishop, it's a knight. I want to attack the undefended knight. He moves it. At this point, I could have actually taken this pawn. I could have actually gotten a pawn here. And that's because I'm attacking it 3 times. He only has 2 defenders. So the right move here is to take. He will take back, and then you can recapture with your knight. For whatever reason, I did not calculate that. Actually, I know the reason. I got obsessed with this discovered attack idea. And it's funny because my last video, I talked about how I get kind of focused on one plan of attack and then go with it. I have 5 minutes, so I had time to think of another option, but I didn't. I just went with my first thought. He supports this knight a bit more, and then I go for the discovered attack. Now, the right move is actually to take, which he did. He sacrifices his queen. I went back post-analysis and looked at other things like, hey, why don't we move the queen out of the way? Anything you do is just bad for you. So, you can go down almost 10 here. So the right move is to take, which is kind of crazy. I definitely would not have taken. I would have moved my queen out of the way just to keep the queen on the board. Anyways, he does get a check-in, so I have to protect myself with the bishop. So you got to be thinking about, hey, this is a pinned position, so just be careful here. And then I'm thinking, oh yeah, he's putting pressure on my side. He's trying to move down the board, but kind of forgets that my queen owns this square. And then we trade off some pawns. And really, at this point, I want to unpin my bishop. I'm going to go through this pretty quick here because it's just endgame. And I'm attacking undefended pieces, trying to trade where possible. And then he makes a huge blunder, tries to attack my queen. And this is probably time-based, right? He's getting stressed. Less than 2 minutes. He just makes a massive blunder, forgetting that by moving this, it's undefended. So I can take. And it's brutal because it's with check. So I take with check. He's got to move his king. And then I get the knight also. Yikes. So it's the end of the game, right? I'm moving my my pawns up the board. I was thinking about calculating checkmate, but at this point I had 1:35, so I was like, fastest way to end this game is to promote another queen. So I calculated here that I could actually capture the rook. Actually, I think I went here. Yeah, I think I went there. Yep. And basically I'm trying to capture this, and then he actually makes an error here. I could have just taken, but I was so focused on just it was bad. I could have just had an extra queen. And then from here, I just wanted to get this safe. And I was thinking, okay, now we just need to move stuff up the board. I put a check in and was just like, hey, I'm going to clear off some of his pawns, and then actually ended up checkmating him. So yeah, he just has nowhere to go. This knight is protecting h4, and then yes, everything is protected. And that's the end of the game. Anyways, Accelerated Dragon, try it out. It's awesome. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/eobeebs. All right, catch you later.